We've seen the ETH rotation trade, that's good. The catch up is happening. I think we'll see the rest of the space utterly ignite. I'm sorry, but people are going to buy XRP and Doge.
May 2021.
I love charts like this.
If you are watching this, you are interested in changing your life financially, because that is the only purpose of this channel. Find high quality assets that are in the early stages of a mega trend. Get in as inexpensively as possible, dollar cost average on red days, and watch those assets skyrocket. I posted a video on Aerodrome today. The market's already starting to wake up to what's going on with that. It's up 60% in 1 week. Today, we're going to talk about some of the other highest quality altcoins on the planet. We're going to hear from Raoul Pal. He just gave a new update. And we're just going to analyze and dive into this space. We've seen altcoins provide life-changing returns to investors before. There is absolutely no reason they won't do it again, because the fundamentals this time around are like 50 or 100 times better than they ever have been. But I think what's going to matter most going forward is quality. Before, if there was liquidity, if there was money printing, low interest rates, money would just pump anything. Seems like we're in a more constrained monetary situation where the US is indebted. Interest rates can't necessarily go to zero unless there's some horrendous event. And so quality is going to matter. Just like the early days of the internet, everything pumped, pets.com pumped, then everything crashed and the best stuff rose. So that's most likely what we're going to see with crypto. Again, what is Raoul Pal saying about this space? What are the highest quality assets? Let's dive in.
There's the M2 chart, and it's lagging a bit, but it's this kind of period here where we should be turning up and seeing the acceleration point. Also, this is Bitcoin, and as we know, dominance is going down. So dominance changes this somewhat, because what we're going to see is the other assets doing it.
What he's saying is that Bitcoin is starting to lag the money supply a little bit, because Bitcoin dominance is going down, meaning there's more room for the world to discover these revolutionary altcoins, which have insanely bullish fundamentals and have life-changing upside. This is the chart of Bitcoin dominance. What we see is it just took a dip. It's like somewhere around 59%. And so every single other time Bitcoin dominance drops, we get a massive alt season. So that is very, 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 very bullish for these altcoins. So we have money supply going up, liquidity moving in, Bitcoin dominance coming down, some of these early stage altcoins starting to pump. Very, very exciting for early stage investors.
There's the Bitcoin dominance chart. It looks to us like it's forming a head and shoulders top pattern, which would break lower. That would be very typical at this stage in a bull market. And in which case, things like global M2, Bitcoin won't track as well, but the overall space will track it really well, and you'll see the acceleration of assets. We've had ETH as the main beneficiary, which makes total sense. A, everybody was massively underweight, and B, suddenly the entire world is building on top of ETH rails, which is what I said would happen. Is like the financial industry, they'll choose Microsoft over Apple every time, because that's what they do. You don't get fired for building on ETH. Robinhood, could they have chosen Solana to build on? Yeah, but they chose an ETH layer too.
So that's one altcoin he's bullish on. He's bullish on Ethereum. If you understand crypto, you understand that as money pours into a layer one blockchain, the assets built on top of it get an inflow of liquidity. The high quality assets built on top of it skyrocket. So if you're bullish Ethereum, you have to be bullish the higher quality assets, the decentralized exchanges that are just printing money. Aerodrome we cover. Velodrome is the sister to Aerodrome, way smaller market cap. No one talks about it. GMX, a decentralized exchange on Arbitrum. No one talks about it. He just mentioned that Robinhood is building on Arbitrum. Well, what is the number one DeFi asset on Arbitrum? GMX. Again, can't cover that in this video. Don't have time. But just stay on top of some of those assets. What else is Raoul Pal bullish on?
I think the next phase of Bitcoin dominance, we've seen the ETH rotation trade, that's good. The catch up is happening. Okay, once it gets into kind of mid-value versus Bitcoin again, then I think we'll see the rest of the space utterly ignite. And as we know, once you throw in a lot of liquidity into lower free float things, they go up more. And that's how it always plays out.
So he's talking about how Bitcoin is pumping, Ethereum is pumping, Bitcoin dominance starting to fall. That means the rest of the space is about to ignite. That's what he just said. And we're starting to see green shoots, massive green shoots. So let's look at the charts of some of these assets. What we've seen in the entire crypto space is, for instance, GMX skyrocketed back in the end of 2024. It collapsed and it just woke up, going up like 50% in a day. What have we seen with other assets like ICP. We saw it do the exact same thing, right? It pumped at the end of 2024, it crashed. It just hasn't made the same move that GMX has made. But the entire crypto space is currently correlated. So to fade an asset for making the same pattern that some of the other assets have made, but it just hasn't caught up yet, is ridiculous. Here's Aerodrome, skyrocketed at the end of 2024, collapsed. That was the time to buy instead of panic sell. And look, it's breaking out. So we're starting to see these assets break out. They've all made the same pattern. They pumped at the end of 2024. Now some are starting to break out. Some haven't caught up yet. So to think they won't catch up yet is ridiculous when they made the exact same pattern of the assets that are starting to catch up. If you follow me on Patreon, you know we've been in Aerodrome, dollar cost averaging deep into the down zone. We weren't whining about price. Rule number one in crypto is don't whine about price. Don't panic sell. Don't chase pumping charts. Buy horrendous looking charts. Fade pumping charts. So that's where we are in the crypto space. He's saying the altcoin space is about to ignite. That's what Raoul Pal is saying. Doesn't get more bullish than that if he's right.
I've said this for a long time. I mean, as you know, my main bet has been SUI for a while, and before that was Solana. Those rotations have done well. SUI still generally outperforming Solana over a longer term basis.
So Raoul Pal is bullish on SUI and Solana. Let's look at the charts of SUI and the Solana. I wonder if they made a very similar move. Well, Solana at the end of 2024 skyrocketed, crashed, has come down, is bigger cap, doesn't move as much as some of these smaller caps. We're trying to make life-changing returns. We're trying to find the small caps that he's saying are going to outperform. Well, again, we're starting to see it in the Ethereum DeFi assets first. Solana, barely broken out. It's going to follow the exact same trend as Aerodrome and GMX. What about SUI? Pumped at the end of 2024, has come down, hasn't come down as much as the others, but that means there's probably less upside. The market cap of SUI is enormous. It's like 10 times what ICP is. So SUI also starting to break out. So these are all following the same pattern. Those are three altcoins he's bullish on we've talked about so far. Ethereum, SUI, Solana.
One simple thing is go onto CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap and look at crypto. And we've talked about this. It's like, I'm sorry, but people are going to buy XRP and Doge and Cardano, whether you like it or not, because they're cheap in the absolute term of how much you pay for a token. So people will do that. The alt layer ones that are getting absolute network adoption, Solana, SUI, few others, great. And then somewhere in the middle, we'll see what happens. But I think the middle part is the harder play. Hey, I've got this DeFi token that could be amazing. That's pretty hard. There's some idiot-proof ones, which is big layer ones that get adoption go up a lot and they're less risky. And the moron trade, which is always a good one, which is just buy the cheapest thing on the top 10. In fact, I'm going to show you the moron trade now. And I'm not saying that these are moronic and people are moronic for owning them. I'm talking about when retail come in, what do they look at? Okay, so you're new to crypto. Welcome to crypto. Bitcoin, I can't buy that. It's $116,000. I can barely afford lunch. Ethereum, well, that's pretty expensive. Oh. XRP, I've heard about that. I saw some videos on YouTube. It's $3. BNB, well, I don't really know what that one is. Solana, $175. Oh, but Doge, Elon likes Doge. It's 22 cents. And Cardano, I've seen tons of videos. It's 78 cents. You can see what happens because we've all done it too. So that's my general thesis, that the anchoring bias of price is a real thing. And look at the top 10 because you think you've de-risked.
So Raoul Pal is also bullish on XRP, Cardano, and the top 10 assets. So he's bullish the big layer ones with network effects and growing adoption. And then he thinks dumb money, I wouldn't call them dumb, but that's what people call them. Dumb money, retail traders that don't understand what's going on in space. He says they're just going to pour money into crypto and just buy up the biggest cap assets on the planet. I totally disagree. That is the way to make life-changing returns in this bull market. I understand Raoul Pal's mindset. He's making all this money buying the highest quality NFTs on the planet like CryptoPunks. This channel is for the people that haven't had their lives changed yet. So we can't afford a $200,000 NFT, right? So we need to find the highest quality assets. What he is saying is it's difficult to find the best quality, smaller cap crypto assets that can provide life-changing returns. So he calls it the moron trade. Buy the top 10. I totally disagree. Again, we want life-changing returns. We don't want the top 10. They already have massive market caps. We want the assets that deserve to be in the top 10. It's really not difficult to understand which assets are the highest quality. It really isn't. So on this channel, again, we have time to find those assets. Let's start with some of the assets that make up this bag of assets that can provide life-changing returns. Here's Chainlink. We're excited to announce the launch of the Chainlink Reserve, a new upgrade centered on the creation of a strategic on-chain reserve of linked tokens. Demand for Chainlink has already created hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, substantially from large enterprises that have paid off chain for access to the Chainlink platform. We cover those large enterprises, the Swift network, that's 11,000 banks, and just big institutions all over the planet. The DTCC, big banks in Australia, JP Morgan, all using Chainlink. Chainlink itself, Chainlink Labs, is buying up the Chainlink token. They understand how bullish it is. They're buying it off the open market. The reserve has already accumulated over $1 million worth of Link from this early stage launch phase, which is expected to gradually grow in the coming months as more revenue is converted into Link and placed into the reserve. So they're literally taking the money earned by the Chainlink network, showing massive confidence in the Link token, and buying it back up. Insanely bullish fundamentals. That is one asset that we have time to research and understand how potentially life-changing it is. One of my favorite ways of getting exposure to Link is via the staked out Link token, a tiny market cap asset, the liquid staking solution to Chainlink that literally prints Link tokens. If you want to learn more about that, it's in my Patreon. So far, matching Link's performance has potential to outperform Link's performance. Again, we have time to dive into these assets. What about ICP? Well, what Raoul Pal is talking about is layer one blockchains with network effects being bullish and having the potential to absolutely skyrocket. Does ICP have network effects? Is it growing exponentially? Well, all you have to look at to understand if it has network effects is the community growing? Over the last month, ICP has gone from having 2.79 million internet identities to now 2.83 million internet identities. So over the last month, we've had 40,000 people around the world. These are global assets, not just US assets, they're global. 40,000 people went through the process of logging into the world computer, using it, building on it, getting paid massive passive income from it. So many different ways to take advantage of this. So many different people. I think that's bullish. Tens of thousands of people joining the ICP network. It's all about network effects. That's what Raoul Pal is talking about. Now, if you're questioning whether or not the technology that's being built on the world computer is good, when some of the other assets don't have that technology, right? It's weird. It's like, why do these bigger cap crypto assets that people are pumping up and hyping all over the world, like SUI and ICP, why do they not have the technology that ICP has if it's so good? Well, they want the technology that ICP has. They just haven't caught up yet. May 2021, the Internet Computer introduced the world's first prediction passkey authentication system. 4.5 years later, SUI becomes the first network to follow. All roads lead to Definity. PS Internet Identity 2.0 will launch with caffeine. So SUI just created passkey, which enables fast, secure login with Face ID, Touch ID, or a YubiKey. That is how you log on to the world computer. You have a passkey, no password. You just use your face, use your fingerprint. Very easy to log into the world computer. SUI has finally learned how to do what ICP learned how to do 4.5 years ago. That's the revolutionary nature of this technology. The bigger cap assets finally starting to catch up to ICP. It's not that they don't want the technology ICP has, it's that they haven't been able to build it. SUI starting to catch up. So those are some very high quality assets that Raoul Pal, again, doesn't have time for. I get it. No judgment. He's doing fine with his super expensive NFTs. Not everyone can afford super expensive NFTs. So we find those undiscovered assets, those high quality assets that can provide life-changing returns, not financial advice.
I love charts like this because you've got this rounded bottom pattern, inverse head and shoulders low. You've seen that it can actively trade big volume at 4 and 5 ETH, and it's currently at 0.86. We've got change of ownership. We've got a new story. It's like, that's a pretty bloody good chart.
He loves charts that look like that. We're very familiar with those charts. Here's the chart of ICP. It looks identical. We had a massive pump at the top of the bull market. We had a massive crash. Most people got shaken out. It does a bottoming pattern. Then it skyrockets, just like Cardano in 2020. We're finding the highest quality assets with charts that look like that. He's talking about an NFT collection, but it can happen with world computing technology that is game-changing with massive network effects. That's ICP. That's all these other high-quality assets we're talking about. Find the assets with the most horrendous looking chart imaginable. Make sure they're extremely high quality with booming fundamentals, a growing network effect. Stack dollar cost average and potentially make life-changing returns. We're going to continue staying on top of this space.